Okay, good evening. I have 6:30. I'm going to call to order meeting number 1893 of the East Windsor Planning and Zoning Commission. We are here live in the John Daly Meeting Room of the East Windsor Town Hall, as well as on the Zoom platform. I'm going to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have a quorum. We have all 5 regular members present as well as 1 alternate. Do we have any edit agenda items?
We have a couple pieces of correspondence to add to that section. It was a letter from Gravel Pit Solar. And then also I included a letter from Updike Kelly Fellowson, Attorney Robert DiCrescenzo, who's working on behalf of the town of East Windsor.
Okay. That goes to the correspondence section of our agenda. Okay, there was no legal notice. We are at, excuse me. We're at the public participation portion of our meeting. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to speak on a topic that's not on tonight's agenda? Mr.
Hi,
Richard.
my name is Jim Richards, 27 Pleasant Street, East Windsor. I'm here tonight as the Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce. Just for those that don't know me, I've been the Executive Director since the time of Linda Roberts. So I've got a little bit of a history here. Recently, the Chamber conducted a survey, and I would ask the Chairman if I could indulge myself for a moment and hand you a copy of that survey that will be published come tomorrow. And I wanted you all to see a copy of it. It was in regards to signs and zoning and that type of thing. So if I can indulge you for an extra minute or two than usual.
Okay,
I also have a copy of the survey, the results from each and every one of you. That way you don't have to listen to me and I can just do a broad, because I know time is an element here. So, thank you, sir. And again, the chamber is always working to build bridges, so when you read this,
Thank you, Jim.
there is some negative stuff, but that's the only way we solve things, to make it positive. Thanks, copy for you.
Thank you.
Just so you know, we did this survey at the request of many businesses, and we reached out. And I'm just gonna quickly go through it. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. We had over 40 businesses respond. 2 of these businesses have since left the community. We actually chased them down and asked them questions. We're not naming any businesses' names at the request of the businesses. Again, they're concerned that somehow that would affect their occupations, their retail, et cetera. Simple survey. We found that East Windsor, and we found this over the years, that East Windsor has the most stringent zoning rules compared to a lot of other communities. During the recent international health crisis, you all are aware, businesses really got whacked, and they've not regained their foothold. Their main competition is not the local area businesses, but as you all were discussing before the meeting, Amazon and guys like that is the biggest problem for our local businesses to stay in business. Other communities have relaxed the enforcement of the sign regulations. They haven't gotten rid of them, but that's what we're hearing from the businesses, and they're telling us that. We spoke to directly to over 25 of the respondents, because we felt their answers needed clarification. So we did more than just get an answer from these folks. We actually reached back out to them. Results of the surveys, I'm gonna just go down it real quick, because again, I know your time element. Open signs and flags, that's something that is very important to the smaller businesses. And if you look at that, it's really something you need to look at as a commission. We have sections of town that are definitely commercial corridors. We have other sections of town which are still retaining the village spirit. And they should be zoned different. And that's how the businesses feel. Just so you know, I'm here representing them tonight. I'm not necessarily in agreement with everything I say. General business signs, again, back to that. If they're on Route 5, 140 and Warehouse Point, they feel their signages are restricted. And the, you know, people traveling those roads, if you travel them, I do, people are moving fast. So for a business to capture them, bring them in, a good example would be the Pasco Commons. Their businesses are very tough to see from the road because it's so quick. So I'm not sure what all the solutions are, but again, we're just trying to give you some feedback that you might not be hearing. Enforcement of the sign and regulations. That's always been a tough nut to crack. They did sweeps in the past. Those seemed, if we do sweeps instead of enforcing here and there, where there was one point where we actually waited for an actual complaint to be filed by a citizen to enforce the rule. I'm just telling you what's gone on in the past. I'm not trying again to say things haven't changed completely. And again, more of this is geared to the commercial corridors. A lot of them felt that safety was always a big concern, but in the commercial corridors, that's the least of the worries. Other items that was brought up, events at plazas and strip malls right now, and I don't think it's changed. And certainly if I'm wrong, please correct me and I'll promote it. But the limitations that are placed on the malls, the strip malls and the plazas as far as having events, some of them called it ridiculous. If they are paying taxes on parking lots and paying taxes on buildings, then they should be able to have more than a couple events a year. They should be able to have them every weekend, one guy said. I said, well, but again, and a lot of these plazas have more than one or two businesses that would take advantage of that. So again, it's something we're asking as the business community for you as a board to take a look at. They also felt that the enforcement, again, 60% of the businesses that responded, and it was more like 61.5, but I like to round down because usually my adding is off. They felt there was left too much in the hands of the staff. Again, we're back to, can we find a better way to enforce it? And again, none of them said that the line of safety, which is a concern with signs, that's an absolute. They understand that. If it's a corner like Route 5, 140, you can't have a sign sitting right there on the corner and people can't see. So they do understand that. Non-communication between business and town. Again, I rounded down, 70% of the respondents felt that when regulations are being decided, and this is more recently than in the past, there seems to be no reaching out to the businesses. And that's just the way they felt, whether it's true or not. I'm just giving you the responses I'm getting. They also feel that they represent over 35% of the tax base. I believe that's the latest number. It's fluctuating between 30 and 40. And so they should have more say in the drafting of the regulations. So what they're really trying to say is they're citizens too. And while they may not own the house up here in Broadbrook, they own a business down in Warehouse Point and they need better signage so they can stay in business. Our conclusion, we're a growing community. Obviously, we're still growing. We need new infrastructure. Recently discussions about schools, the roads, etc. And businesses are the key to having a tax base big enough. If we try to pay for all that, and it's been proven over the years with just residential taxation, the homeowner's gonna pay for it. And let's see. And that's pretty much, so really the business community, the reason we originally did this was there was complaints and we wanted to put it in a more formal response to you all. We don't expect anything to happen overnight, but hopefully that in the future you can take some of these suggestions and maybe act on them or maybe improve the regulations that exist. Thank you so much for your time.
Good, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm curious what an event at a plaza or a strip mall is. Is that bringing in a circus or?
Actually, dogs and cats, for instance, I wanted to have an afternoon of pet food, whatever that means.
A what?
pet pool, he calls it that, that's his word for using. Visit a bunch of animals down there, running around petting each other.
Oh,
And
okay.
food trucks and things of that nature, you need a permit. And it's very hard to get because you not only have to go through the town, but you gotta go through the police department, I believe still, and I believe the fire department still. I
So you
believe
didn't-
all three of those entities put on one event and only 3 times a year.
Okay, I was thinking like if you had a sale and put a sale rack out, is that an event?
I don't know if that's legal, to be honest. with you.
Yeah, I don't know either.
By regulation, signs and stuff on the plaza sidewalks are illegal. Is my understanding, which could have changed. I'm certainly haven't been doing it for years.
No, I was
But I
just
recall-
curious what kind of events people were
Any
looking to
type of
have.
event, right, exactly. So if you had doing a grand opening, you have to be careful that your sign is only up so long. You have to be careful what you do there. Sometimes it requires a permit. And I'm not saying some of these things don't, but like, for instance, the permit process is put out there because they're concerned about bathrooms. But the truth is, North Central Health, that's their job. It's North Central Health District. And that's one of the concerns the town had in regards to these events in the past.
I see, like the Girl Scouts selling cookies at Geisler's, and I assume that's not an event to me.
Or Advance Auto.
So I can interject. The
Yep.
reason why we do the permits is because on a town's point of view, if 1,000 people show up, we got a big problem.
That's why you need fire.
So that's why we go through all the hoops
And I can see
with the
that.
fire and it is.
I would agree
Health
with you on
license.
that, Jim, except I don't think it's a zoning matter. I think that's an emergency services matter. And if the police department required it, and they would not limit the number of times a year. That's the real problem, is it's limited. So if you have 15 businesses in one plaza, my understanding of the law is you can only have it 3 or 4 times a year. That's it.
So it applies to, I'll say, the landlord as opposed to the
Exactly, instead
store.
of a per business type of thing.
Okay, thank you
Thank
for
you.
helping
Jim.
us understand. what-
Anyone else have anything?
Yeah, Stan Gillespie, Rice Street, Provo. I don't know if the board has seen anything on it. It's Bill HB 6944. Towns take the lead. From my quick reading of it, it looks like that if we have met our minimum low-income housing standards, that bill doesn't really care about our low income, and it just tosses it down our throat. So I thank the board for their service, but I don't know if HB 6944 will. Thank you. Oh, I did get we did get that letter for the expansion of gravel pit solar too.
Anyone else?
Steve Dearborn, 144 East Road. I was reading the paper about a $250,000 grant for low-income housing. It's gonna be built up in the Park Hill area. Now, that low-income housing, is that gonna be for like the people in Park Hill, 50 and over or whatever it is? Or is that for anybody who isn't making any money that walks off the street with 5 kids?
My understanding that grant was for them to renovate what's existing there.
So
Expand.
the $250,000 is the CIF grant. It's from the DECD. And that $250,000 is kind of a planning study grant to do a feasibility study. I don't know if you remember, Park Hill changed the zoning over there.
Yep.
So that they
They
could.
would add on to the 2 empty lots.
More housing units over there.
Yep.
So they sought a grant out to do a feasibility study so they could position themselves better for future grants that could fund the actual implementation of those plans in some way, shape or form. Like, they got a zone change with a concept plan. I think what they come in with will look a little different than what those plans were, but That's what that $250,000 is for.
It's to be used for a study.
Yep, a feasibility study for, like preliminary engineering or site layout of an expansion to Park Hill. So
Okay, so
I don't, I would say Park Hill could answer the question as to who would be,
I wanna know.
Living
Would it
it.
Be for people like.
Right,
that are
today.
now that are over 50.
I could make an
Today-
assumption, Steve, but I don't know for sure, so.
Today, I
Say that.
believe Park Hill is for age restricted and, special needs. It's not just low income. You have to meet certain criteria.
Not the same low income like they have at, Mill Pond.
It's not like Section 8 housing today.
From what I understand, East Windsor already meets their quota on low income housing.
What we learned from Mike, who isn't here tonight, if I'm correct, my understanding of what he said is that statistic is done periodically by the state. And it's based on how people finance their homes. So something that it's the type of mortgage they have. So things like Park Hill, which are senior housing and income limits and,
Because they're government subsidized.
Right.
Fall into that category.
right.
What it is. But if
So
the state-
that kind of housing,
What I can tell you, Steve, gosh, my goodness. When they came before us for the zone change and the possibility of expanding, there was no mention of changing the use at all. They strictly were talking about expanding more of what they have.
They've got.
Yes,
Yep.
there was no discussion at that point at all of changing or adding uses to that property.
and didn't we hear in one of our meetings that there was a many-year wait list of
Yes,
people who
currently.
wanted
Oh, yes.
to live there?
There's also been a wait list up there.
And so the demand is there, but they don't have enough housing.
To me, yeah, it's like a year.
Yeah,
But I mean, this grant is just gonna get them to the design phase. There's a lot more steps they're gonna need.
Make sure that it stays the way it is.
They will have to come before us with a final plan again, yes.
If they decide they want to change it from what it is.
but doesn't Park
Yep.
Hill have a board? And
Mhm.
so that's where the decision would be made
Well,
about
no,
what
they-
they
they
want to
come
do,
bef-
not,
They gotta come
Us.
before us.
right,
For the layout, the design.
for design, but not for the, who's eligible to live there. We wouldn't decide that.
If they wanted a change of use.
Who's hiring the design, the town?
Hmm?
Design people, the state's hiring.
It would be Park Hill with their grant.
Private grant.
They're gonna spend $250,000 on just the design.
Feasibility study
I mean, I
and
know
probably
they-
some engineering.
I did that project about 30 years ago. And they redone the whole thing all over. You know, it's great, beautiful gravel.
I know Anwar was making all these, great comments, how great it was and everything for East Windsor. How come he doesn't push it for South Windsor, South Windsor doesn't want one. Okay, but if it's for the elderly, that's good.
Mhm.
If it's not for the elderly, like Joe Schmo that comes off the street, like I said, that has a bunch of kids. You don't need that up there with the elderly people. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Anderson.
Paul Anderson, 89 Main Street, Broadbrook. I'm a member of the chamber and I'm also a director on the chamber. And going back to what Jim Richards presented, the way I view this circumstance where some of the complaints come up is we have global town-wide sign standards, but they don't work the same everywhere. What we really need is we have a Route 5 corridor that's pure business. The few houses left will be gone soon. We have 140, which is business. why we put the sewer in there. You got Warehouse Point, the development district, and it's turning into all business. Those areas should be treated totally different than anywhere else in town. So that's the concept. Exactly how they're treated, that's a lot of work to figure out. But different is important. Strip malls wanting to have events, they should be able to have more than one event every week, different businesses. You look at the Bassdale Plaza, and they got 2 buildings full of businesses, and they're gonna build a 3rd building, put it back the way it was. They all have their own needs, and they only have one place. And I think the rules say 2 events a year, which is nonsense for that kind of an environment. Every business should be able to do at least 2 a year, if not more. And I'm not even sure why it even matters how many they do. As long as they're done appropriately. So if you have rules to make things appropriate, that's different than saying, how many can you do? It doesn't matter. That's my opinion. But you guys have got to work on it. I can only present things. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I'm gonna move on to approval of minutes. We have the minutes from our last meeting on April 8th. Does anyone have any edits, corrections?
I have a question.
Okay.
On 302. Commissioner Leachman noted that there were no sidewalks on South Lane. Can it be South Main?
Did you say 302?
302. See the word South Lane?
Okay.
I was trying to figure out what South Lane was.
Is that South Road or South Main?
South.
South Main.
Route 5, this was the,
I
That's
got you.
what I,
yep.
right, that's why,
Gotcha.
You'll meet part back.
yep.
Anything else? Does anyone else have any edits? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the meeting Tuesday, April 8th, meeting 1892, striking the word lane in line 32 and replacing it with Main, 302. Replacing the word lane with Main.
There is a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous. It's approved. Okay. Receipt of applications. We received 2 applications this week. PZ 2025-08. The applicant owner is Dave Leeson, is requesting a site plan review special use permit under section 502 of the East Windsor zoning regulations for the construction of a 12,441 square foot building of light manufacturing professional services. Established location located at 172 North Road, map 125, block 24, lot 22. Zone is a B3. This application will be heard at a future meeting. The other application we received is PZ 2025-09. The applicant owner is Steve Dearborn, is requesting a site plan modification for an addition to a building for more tractor and truck show room located at 95 Rice Street, map 31, block 48, lot 24, zoned in the M1. This will also be heard at a future meeting. Performance bonds, actions, permit extension, road acceptance, we have none. The continued public hearing, the hearing was continued until May 13th due to still having to go before wetlands, so we're not,
That's going to be at Broadbrook.
okay, so we will not open that public hearing. We have no new public hearings, no old business, so under new business, we have PZ 2025-07. The applicant owner is Central AS LLC. Peter and Jerry trustee is requesting a site plan review for site work and new construction of an 8,400 square foot commercial pre-engineered steel metal building for automotive repair and sales for a used car dealership located at 26 South Main Street, map 71, block 11, lot 6, and zone is a B2. Who's here to speak on this application?
Gerald Wilcox, Vice President. Project, Central Auto LLC, new sales facility and service facility on North Main Street. Consists of an 8,500 square foot pre-engineered metal building, custom pre-engineered metal building with a architectural style curtain wall in the front. 1,000 square feet of scale office space, 5,400 square feet of service center with 8 lift capacity, 3 restrooms, 288, 2 of them are ADA. 4 managerial office, 1 executive suite, and 2,260 square feet of show and sales with sales desk in front. You guys should have to. The front facade has a textured architectural detail for the zoning regulations of the zone. We have 42 inches of CMU, 8-inch CMU blocks here with a insulated metal panel, stop look insulated metal panel in front. And that's sort of aluminum storefront glass around the east, south, and north elevations. And then we'll have a 25 by 25 foot drive-through canopy for a new car delivery. And 2 columns are wrapped in the same 8-inch CMU. The balance of the building and service area will have standard pre-engineered metal building pearl rib panel that's kind of the standard for the engineered metal buildings. The total site improvements include 98 vehicle spaces. 72 of these are designated as inventory storage and display, and 26 spots for employee customer parking. A zero discharge stormwater retention system filtration basin with stone trench. It's proposed on the north, south, and west elevations to take care of all the stormwater management on site for 2 consecutive back-to-back 100-year storm events. The WPCA has reviewed the plan. We've addressed all the concerns, and the latest revised plan satisfies all of them. The site is very level, slopes only about 2 feet from front to back. The water table was observed at 7 to 9 before tested. And the house is fine accordingly. Yeah, we have some received comments from them and let them know. And all those are addressed on the latest divide.
Is something you'd like to see on the screen?
Size of 415.25.
There's a lot of that, yeah. It's probably the small version. Yeah, 11 by 17 is the revised. I have the revised. Anything planned? That was right here. Yeah, up here.
Gerald Wilcox, President Wilcox Excavate. You should have the revision plans. It was the memos that were addressed by our town engineer, Lynn Norton, the planning and zoning officer. We addressed all of them here on the revision 415. Should have
And up here, you can see the perimeter trees have been put in. And they were painting, there's trees that are naturally existing right here. and there. So those are gonna be used for the perimeter. These were added. Per our request. Lighting details were, you have those. Also included.
Yeah, the photometric. Yeah, the updated.
Photometric, and then the cut sheets at the bottom. If I could get, full-size cut sheets, like 8.5 by 11.
I have,
The file.
I have a full set of plans, the revision plans.
Right, we have those too. I'm just talking about having the 8.5 by 11 because the detail on the big plan, I can't read it. So that was the issue on that.
The revision plan should have the tree planting along the property lines.
Yep.
Also the stone wedge into the detention, the infiltrated detention system. And
The revised photometric, which he has right there.
Yeah.
So going through all your notes, your WPCA has been all set?
WPCA, yep,
It's changed.
it's on the.
That was the type we got, yeah. No, it's the new detail for only one separate.
Okay, so that's in there.
that was
In there.
on the
Yeah.
revision plan.
And then Lenny's comments were,
Satisfied.
he wanted the stone put down, the big stone in the catch basins and all that. Okay,
Yep.
he's all good.
The fire marshal, I spoke with him this afternoon. He's
Yeah.
fine. He takes no exceptions to the plans as presented. That was one of them item.
And what you had about signage details provided for signage beyond.
So the signage, they'll need to get a permit
Permit, yeah.
separately.
Okay, so that's the 1, 2 perimeter trees. Wetlands. Then the parking on the grass, that's on the plan too. Yeah.
I just had two questions. Can you tell me what kind of trees? You're across from Pasco's, right? So people live there?
Yeah,
Are they
yes.
gonna be nice trees?
Yeah, well, there's sugar maple and dogwoods.
Okay, good.
Yeah. there's
No.
Sugar maples outside.
Yeah, we
Some
planted
of the
dog-
azaleas
we planted
around.
dogwoods on the Route 5.
Nice.
Figured
Both
that-
are
Yeah.
residential.
Yep,
And then azaleas around the front.
nice.
A
As far as
proposed.
that sign is concerned, that will be a separate. Need separate permit. We're dealing with it.
Yeah. but- My other question is, when you say car repairs, I want to make sure we're clear. Does that include, I'll say, painting of cars?
No. No.
It's just repairs. It's not.
General water.
Yep.
repairs.
That's why they have their oil water separators.
Yeah, no, I just want to
Very
make
common.
sure.
Yeah, Pretty much the same that all the others.
No, but when it gets into a spray booth and the
Yep,
paint,
no
it
spray
gets
booths,
into
no.
emissions and,
If that were the case, it would need a special use permit.
that's what I asked.
Anything else?
It for me.
Dave, do you have anything?
Yeah, two questions. First, have you run turning radiuses for tractor trailers rolling in? There's only one entrance in, and one entrance out.
There is a turning radius plan in there for trucks.
Okay.
Yeah, they can come in and out.
Enough room. Been all the way around, even with your.
That would be
Close the island to the end?
a turn radius for the fire department. Tractor trailers. You won't be using tractor trailers.
What you'd be using to make car carriers. Assuming the dealership.
Small ones. Smaller than, it will be smaller than a fire.
6 plates. 6 wheel gear down.
And then the only other question I have is snow removal. Put on the snow.
The snow,
Grab it from everywhere and drop it in
Well-
between the two little basins.
No. We don't. We're not getting much snow in Connecticut, you know?
Never know.
Never know. So I, gotta
The
ask.
snow, it's almost 200 feet here in the back, with 150 feet can be piled up in the back in a spot here. Some of the snow can be put on this, in this corner over here, we look at. And look at some of it, so mostly utilized in the back of the property.
You don't think any of that snow up the front is gonna restrict your sight line?
Not on this side here, this is all inside the property line.
This is pretty far back. This is.
It's 30 feet, actually, state property line.
Pointed to
30
the
feet
lower
back.
one, you were,
Excuse me?
when you pointed to the lower property line, you were,
Which in this one?
nope, where you enter,
Oh, over
there you
here.
go. When you were down there, you're
Well,
over.
we won't put no snow there.
Okay.
Bothers you.
Okay. Just wanna make sure
We
everybody's
don't
got
need
it.
it.
Clean sight line to
We
get
get
in
rid of
and
all
out.
the snow right back here. In the back, on the west side. We filmed it both ways with the infiltration system on each side.
Anything else, Dave?
No, that's all I see for right now. Thank you.
Stacy? Okay, Wayne?
What are your hours?
Excuse me?
What days and hours do you plan on?
Normally this is normal hour. Normal, 8 till 5, 6,
5 days a week?
6 days a week.
You plan on having?
You sell cars, most people sell cars on Saturday. The weekend.
So this is gonna be used car sales?
Yes. The only thing that's gonna be worked on, it's sold here. So, all they do is minor repairs on.
So it's not general repairs, it's just repairs on how to get it perfect.
No, not public, it's not public.
So that's what I'm saying.
No.
It's on the items.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and the lighting?
The lighting, we provided you with the lighting.
This is single sheet.
Yeah, most of the lights provided off the building, there's 2 poles in the front that. All the light will stay on the property. Nothing will be plugged into the road, the adjacent line.
It's not, that's the department. Yeah, like.
The hash, those are painted on island. Those are painted islands.
That's the, yeah.
I know some of them trucks that they haul are like over 30 feet long and, it's a fifth wheel kind of, what, 3 or 4 cars that put on them.
No, but these deliveries will be coming with smaller tow truck style, like flatbed. 6-wheel tow truck style.
Oh, flatbed.
Yeah. It's not like IAA, like, how they come into IAA up there, you
They're
know?
all over the place. don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
If they keep it on.
What's the proximity from your driveway to the signal light there?
From this driveway to this.
Yes.
To Pasco.
What you have.
Yeah, go.
What we have here is the driveway. And another driveway right here for the car wash. And the light. So you answer your question, I would say 125 feet from light. Water Street,
Sure.
you got about 100-foot frontage here, 125-foot frontage on the car wash.
Because it is kind of a busy street, so a 10-car queue or something will block your driveway. But
Well-
I don't foresee this being a high traffic in and out type of
No,
establishment.
Especially at rush hour.
But this is a new curb cut, so that's gonna have to get state approval for that as well. Right.
anything else?
That was all that I had.
Excuse me?
No, there's a car wash.
The existing car wash here right next.
No, it's back further back. So the car wash.
Any.
Oh, but his car was.
Inside the four drains, which is going through
That's
the
the car
oil
wash, and
cell.
it's gonna be right there. Okay.
you know, with the guide.
Almost across from.
That's definitely great now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's controlled or floor drain,
Okay.
treated before it goes in
Yeah.
sewer.
Any other questions?
Are you gonna have a traffic flow arrows to tell everybody which way to go? I noticed your plan for the emergency vehicles has it coming in and then turning north again. Are you gonna direct all traffic that way, or are you gonna have a free for all for traffic every which way around the building?
Exiting the.
Entering and exiting, you gonna have a specific flow of it?
Well, the way it is now, they're exiting, they can go either left or right.
Okay.
And we'll,
But how are emergency vehicles gonna know they have to come in and go right?
Well, we'll have arrows on, painted arrows.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Is, are you gonna have a flow
Yes,
and a pattern in there? It's not been mentioned anyway, that gives a flow.
Take their striping plan for that.
There's nothing on the plans to give you flow with where the traffic is going. Because like your turning radius, when you show the fire department coming in and making a right, as soon as they come in.
we can put that on the plan.
Just something that gives everybody a
We
chance
can
to
do
know
that.
how to go and where to go.
I can work with you. Can do that.
You're saying that when you exit.
Fact that you want,
you're saying on property traffic? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, not traffic going out Main Street, but on property traffic, like directing them to
Yeah.
counterclockwise flow around the building.
yeah, okay,
Yeah, okay.
And also when you leave, you
That's
choose either
reasonable.
left or right, even though the curb cuts kind of favor.
Well, it's actually coming in because it's kind of funny because Main Street, it runs on a diagonal with it, but yeah, so when you come up here, you'll be square perpendicular to Main Street. So just you take a left or right.
Equal.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
We're gonna have that.
The facility, yeah, it's gonna have 3 bathrooms, 2 ADA accessible, 1 private. But we need the occupancy load.
those elevations, can you walk us through like which
Sure.
side of the building they are?
Okay, yeah, and I can actually show you the other sides too. So they have the actual colors on them. This is the west elevation, so this is what you're gonna see from the road here. That's your main entrance here.
Okay.
So this will be on this right here, so that's where, you know, the customers can see their new car or take one for a test drive, you know, pick it up. And then, so we'll have 2 lights in front here, some soffit lighting. This projection comes out about 4 feet, or 3 feet, comes out 3 feet, it goes about 4 feet above the other line to get some character. So we got 42 inches of brick to satisfy the architectural requirements for the B2 zone. Then this is the rear, so this will be seen just from Water Street across that field. This will be like a standard pre-engineered metal building panel called a PBR panel. With 1 door, regular walk door. You'll see the back of the canopy here with the columns, and then I'll show you guys the sides of the building. So this right here, this is the south elevation. There's the canopy. You'll have a door here it's a 9x8 door where they can load cars into the showroom. This will be the executive office, his private window. And then this will be the service. There'll be an expansion joint here. It transitions to a different kind of siding. And this will be the service area. With doors on either side so they can bring cars in from 3 different, straight through. That's the layout that they like. And then this will be the north elevation with another door to bring cars in from the other side for display. And then this will be the service manager's office right here. So they'll have their own office just to manage, they just manage their own detail.
And then moving into service. So you're gonna service some of the vehicles for like a certain number of days, or some warranty some?
Some of them, yes, will be, the only people that will come in that aren't cars going out would be someone who bought a car that had a 30-day warranty, but they would come in just to get that work done and then they'd be gone. But yeah, they're not open for general. It's just only customers.
Like a new dealership.
Yeah, they're not like, they're not long-term, they don't have a new dealership franchise, so there's not long-term service plans here.
But you're not gonna do general repairs from somebody that didn't buy a car from
No,
you.
that's not.
Somebody wants a brake job done, that's not,
Yeah, no.
you're not the guy.
This plan is to service the inventory vehicles. And just do the service that's owed to the customer for the, used cars sometimes have maybe a 30-day warranty. Just fill that out of each. But that's it, but they do have a service manager. They have 8 mechanics and she just basically manages the mechanics and takes the intake from the customers coming back for those plans.
Okay.
And then like in the main office area, you got your regular, your business manager, your sales manager, your secretary, and executive suite for the owner. There's an owner operator.
As we come in off the apron for the street, to the back, we're gonna push this snow. How far are we going with that?
From the front here
Yeah.
to here, you're about 300 feet. But we're not gonna push all the snow back there. That would be, if anything, emergency.
The long ways to push.
Yeah, we'd have some room here, even here. And then,
When you come to, like, when you have to have the snow with this budget, 90% of the snow is gonna be put back, you're the front end loader.
yeah, we have that. It's gonna be,
Move any of the snow?
yeah, it's gonna be
Front end
extreme snow
loader.
event. Some of the snow
You
may have
move
to
it
be,
all the way.
but there's plenty of storage for it.
So you're gonna leave a piece of equipment there?
Normally, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if
They'll have plow equipment.
I'm doing the snow removal, I'm right on top of the job. Anyway, I can almost walk to the
So you're gonna
job.
park equipment out there?
Excuse me?
You have equipment?
Oh,
parked-
you can park it in the back if you want. Oh, yeah, this is all. The existing wooded area here. If you go down Water Street, behind the car wash,
Yeah.
that wooded area is gonna stay. So this is gonna be all blocked out. And you see on the revision plan, planting some trees, every 50 feet of my property. Moving around it.
Yeah, they have one pretty well prepared.
The back is pretty well.
A lot of times, if there's a bigger snow event, they'll take the cars and just group them all in one area and then they'll plow and put them back.
Yeah.
They do that a lot of times too ahead of time.
You have to get put in the back, if you can park it in the front.
You never know.
We do, that's the
It'd
only
be a
thing.
big storm.
Yeah.
You take like Buxton Mall. We used to haul it years ago. We, figure 500 feet, normal, is 500 feet. Pushing dirt is 300 feet, snow is 500 feet. So, you don't use little small loaders when you're gonna do it like that. This here, piece of cake, if it.
Yeah, an extreme snow event, it's may require a loader. If it's gonna be lucrative for them to move it anyways, because they're not gonna want any
Inventory.
inventory blocked off, they want full visibility.
Okay, everybody good?
Oils and antifreeze storage, that someplace gonna be, I assume that's gonna be inside, as you mentioned, I see no
There's
mention
gonna
of
be,
it outside.
there's gonna be about 250 gallons of used oil, no antifreeze storage, 250 gallons of used motor oil, transmission oil stored inside.
Okay, perfect. Yep.
Okay. All of your concerns have been addressed?
They have been.
Okay. So Nobody else has any further questions. I'll entertain a motion on this application.
The draft motion we have with the package has 5A and B that are vacant. Do we want to add something for the traffic flow arrows, maybe as under 5?
Yes. So it reads, the plan shall be revised as follows. And I have, show traffic flow within the site. And I have paint arrows, that's what I wrote.
No other revisions are needed to this motion. Okay,
Don't recall anything discussed that needed to be added.
then I'll make a motion to approve PZ 2025-7, the site plan review application for 26 South Main Street, site plan application for site work and construction of 8,400 square foot commercial pre-engineered steel metal building for automotive repairs and sales. The applicant is Central AS Inc., owner Pete A. Jerry, trustee, map 71, block 11, lot 6, 1, zone B2. The approval is granted subject to conformance with the reference plans as may be modified by the commission and the following conditions. The reference plans are noted in the draft motion we received from town staff. There are 5 conditions which must be met prior to submittal of the final plans. The number 5 from the draft we received is edited to add a 5A that says show traffic flow within the site. And then there are conditions 6 through 8, which are conditions which must be met prior to the issuance of any permits. There's conditions 9 and 10, which must be met prior to the issuance of the certificate of compliance. And conditions 11 through 18, general conditions.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second?
All right, Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. You are approved.
Thank you.
Under other business, we have our CEO report.
Good night.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. The first couple items, the 42 Bridge Street with the signage issue, and then 34 and 36. The first one's getting ready for citations, or we're kind of on hold a little bit, settled for the hearing officer. So that's kind of been waiting. The second one, the wetlands agent will need to revisit this site. They were waiting for the spring.
It's here.
Still gonna go back out.
That BB property? That one?
No, not
it's
BB's
Down
property.
where
It's
the
the
yellow
corner.
place is down.
Oh,
They had cleared in the back.
Ocon?
okay, sorry. They spelled it.
Still.
Okay, sorry.
Filter.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So the whole lot next to that? you think that?
Yep.
Oh. Oh, what? Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
Same thing with Newbury Village.
wrong on the street, sorry.
The developer out there has until April 30th to comply. That's why that's still open. Good, 56 Reservoir, Danielle said is closed. They did move their last unregistered.
Good. Man, it's getting smaller and smaller.
I know. 27 Willem, get some traction, effort to do some cleanup, but it looks like it's kind of recirculating, starting over again with, additional cars coming in. So she's gonna reach back out. to Them. 130 Depot, again, we're waiting for citation officer. Same thing for 140 South. Holton, 24 Holton Paris, she said it was open. They have until May 17th. To remove the animals, so that's open. 119 South Main. This is United Ag and with the damaged fence. That's open. Last one. 7 Craftsman, the RV, someone living in the RV, they moved.
That's the
Hold
time,
on.
that's the time building over there in the back.
Yeah,
Timken.
Timken, where it had-
Yeah.
Timken.
they took the camper out of there.
Okay. I saw it the other day.
Yeah.
I thought I saw it there the other day. I just, I left it here, way home.
Yeah, I've been there lately. See what-
I do every day. Way home. Good luck.
Next item, we've got Connecticut Federation of Planning and Zoning Quarterly Newsletter.
Yep, that's for your reading enjoyment. I just wanted to see, it's I mentioned earlier about public act,
Well,
House bill.
one of the things that I noticed in here was if a motion is made at a meeting and nobody seconds it, then it is a failed motion.
Yeah, I
So
thought
is
that
a
was
decision.
interesting.
Yeah.
That you had to then make the motion the opposite.
It dies.
Because I think one of
That's a decision.
the training sessions I've sat in on, once, it was one of the attorneys that said they recommended that you do not make a motion to deny anything. That you always make a motion to approve, and if the commission doesn't agree with it, then there is either no second or no, you
A
know,
vote isn't.
right, if there's no one that agrees, and there's no second, then the motion is dead right there. And that is considered a decision.
Final, yeah,
So that was interesting.
especially since the town is taking the position, they didn't make a final decision.
Yeah.
The appeal.
Yeah.
So then we would have just the added correspondence.
Were there any of these proposed legislations that you felt worthy of mentioning? The one about eliminating parking requirements, I know that would affect us,
That would affect us. I just wonder if
if it will.
it will even
Yeah.
pass.
Or the
there's one
open
there,
space
I was gonna
requirement.
say,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would certainly impact us if that were to pass.
And
Legal
moratoriums.
notices, maybe we end up with being able to say there is no paper with general circulation, who knows? But the way it's,
Never passed in.
the way they're, yeah, I know, every year they try,
Right.
but that's in
I
there.
would be very curious how that open space one goes. Well, stay tuned. Okay, so moving on to correspondence, I guess we'll start with the letter from Gravel Pit Solar.
So the town and abutters have been notified that Gravel Pit Solar under petition 492 has been completed, and they are seeking to modify their application or their project to add approximately 30 megawatts of additional capacity. and they are planning to file a motion to reopen and modify their certificate to council, which would have been today that they would have filed that. I do know from seeing their draft modification plan that there are a couple of big projects that were previously approved that they've essentially acquired. And there's infrastructure, like getting power proposed from those facilities and additional expansions to the existing infrastructure, gravel pit solar, where they're connected to the grid. So it's real, there's a lot of easements involved in it or getting wiring.
Is there a map that shows what parcels they bought?
In the draft, once they filed a petition and that's online, I think that's probably, yeah, yeah. So we were asked to weigh in on that draft, which they have, according to this, submitted today. And so you also see in your packet a letter that was drafted on the town's behalf by Robert DiCrescenzo. He's the special counsel for the town, expressing our concerns on the expansion and in solar in general with cumulative impacts, and citing loss of natural habitat, the impact on residents, and the loss of farmland.
One question, so I'm seeing a discrepancy in acreages here. Gravel Pit is claiming that they're currently occupying 485, and our response is, well, they're saying they're looking for an additional 505?
Based on parcels. It's the acreage of the parcels.
Okay,
So it's all,
so they want to add,
it could be calculating, here's my array and
they
infrastructure.
were only using
We're
this many
using this
acres,
many
but
acres.
they own,
In order to get there, because I think their
because,
first number is over, like, I think they own over 800, close to 900 acres,
okay, but they're
Right.
occupying
but
400.
they're
Yeah.
price,
Gotcha.
the lower number.
They're making it look like they're only adding 241 acres when it's actually 500 acres.
The two petitions that are incorporated in their expansion are the Green Skies and Moment Solar. And they were petitions as in the Updike letter, he cites them. Petitions 1463 and 1422.
So just for the record, the town is against the solar, obviously.
Correct.
Okay.
It's
Wanna put that
the
out
last
there.
sentence in that, it says, expressed above, the town does not support the proposed expansion.
Agreed.
Have they already acquired the property? Or is it just contingent?
I don't know.
If they acquired it,
I
on the
know,
land records?
um,
No?
if it were acquired, they probably would, they probably got into options.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta spend money on a field.
You can't do it.
well, that's hopeful. If they went outright and purchased it, then they kind of feel like they can steamroll through this.
Above our pay grade.
And when is there, you have no idea when the siting council is gonna
When they would act on it.
act on this?
I don't know, but I should be able to track it. If they submitted it, I don't know whether it needs to be a meeting of the siting council before it goes up on the docket. But we could go to the siting council website. The letter that Gravel Pit sent actually provides a contact. Going to the website
Yeah,
or contacting John Gravel at Desiree.
okay. That's it for correspondence. We have nothing under business meeting. We have no need for an executive session, so anyone has anything else they'd like to discuss? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call for vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned at 7:35.